Saturday morning. The smell of fresh sawdust hangs in the garage. Your hands grip the edge of a half-built dining table, splintered at one corner. The tape measure lies twisted across the bench, and $50 of pine is now unusable. You stare at the blueprint, squinting. Step 6 doesn't match the step 5. You sigh. This is familiar. That sinking thought creeps in. I must be doing something wrong. It's not you. This is what happens to countless woodworkers who start with the best intentions. But here's a question. What if the problem isn't your skill, your tools, or even your effort? What if the plans themselves are the real obstacle standing between you and a finished project? Most people assume the problem is their skill or that they simply need better tools. But the real barrier isn't personal. It's structural. For decades, woodworking plans have been published with missing measurements, incomplete steps, and assumptions that the builder already knows the hard parts. A single 1/16" error in a diagram can ruin a joint, and vague instructions can turn a weekend project into a month-long frustration. This is the information gap. Plans that look complete but fail in execution. I've seen it firsthand teaching workshops for 25 years, guiding thousands of students. The frustration isn't your fault. It's the system of unfinished or poorly tested plans that turns dreams into abandoned lumber piles. Scenario 1, you purchase a plan for a new bookshelf. Step 1 to step 2 jumps without explanation. You cut the side panels based on the diagram. When it's time to attach the shelves, nothing aligns. That $60 of wood sits awkwardly, half-built. You tell yourself, I'm just not precise enough. Scenario 2, a backyard bench project. You follow the plan exactly. The diagram shows the finished piece beautifully, but the materials list is missing screws. A 15-minute cut becomes 3 trips to the hardware store. Your Saturday vanishes. You whisper, I should have started smaller. Scenario 3, a white oak cabinet. You've invested in high-quality lumber and a decent router. Yet by step 4, the dado cuts are off because the plan assumes nominal wood thickness. A minor error becomes a joint that won't close. The weekend turns into a salvage operation. I just can't get this right, you think. And here's what all 3 have in common. Every failure points back to the same culprit, the plans themselves. They're incomplete, untested, and assume knowledge you don't yet have. That's the root of the cycle that leaves projects gathering dust in garages everywhere. Have you ever wondered why the plans that look perfect fail the moment you start building? Or why weekends disappear faster than expected? This is where most woodworkers get stuck for months. After enough failed builds, I started asking a different question. What would it take to create a plan that actually works every time? The answer wasn't in more tools or skill. It was in tested, step-by-step plans. Plans that have been built first, then documented. Plans that anticipate the small errors, missing measurements, and assembly pitfalls. One student's shaker end table demonstrates this perfectly. The first attempt using a magazine plan ended in misaligned tenons and wasted boards. Using a tested approach, the same project was completed in one weekend, with exact cuts and a sturdy result. This system addresses each pain point, every measurement verified, every step fully illustrated, every material accounted for. It isn't magic. It's methodical, precise, and replicable. The gap between intent and execution closes. The approach that finally worked isn't about rushing. It's about building clarity into the plan itself so that a beginner can follow and even a veteran can avoid costly errors. The library of proven instructions becomes a blueprint for success. You may be thinking, I don't have the right tools. My space is too small. I've failed before. Consider Carol Brewer. She had owned a table saw for 6 months, never built a full piece of furniture. Following a fully tested plan, she completed a small bookshelf in a weekend. Or Oliver Whitfield, a man with 2 previous failed attempts at storage benches. Using the validated approach, he finished his project in 3 weekends with lumber perfectly sized and joints snug. The principle is simple. Plans must be built, tested, and documented before use. That's why this works. Not because the tools are better or because of talent, but because the system removes guesswork and human error. Picture the next 6 months. Your projects remain in the garage. Lumber accumulates, blueprints collect dust, Every weekend is a missed opportunity. Now imagine a single step, the use of fully tested, precise plans. That bookshelf, bench, or cabinet is completed. Materials are used efficiently. Time spent frustrated is now time spent building. You've already invested effort, intention, and weekends. The only thing missing has been a system that matches your ambition with clarity and structure. You can finally close the gap without adding stress or uncertainty. Your past failures aren't evidence of incompetence. They're proof of effort. Every cut, every misaligned joint, every wasted weekend shows that you care enough to build well. The next step is natural. Apply a tested approach to each project. Start small, follow each verified step, and watch what was once frustrating become achievable. If you want to see what I use for every build, I left the link in the description. And if this perspective helped you, consider subscribing for more educational insights and leave a comment sharing your own workshop challenges.